singer. Oh my god.
You love singing with me.
Hey, shout out to the boy Only Singer for that intro. But before we get into another Unfiltered Spotlight, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and go ahead hit the like button on this video while you at it. Please support the individuals that are in these episodes. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or even an organization that does something positive in their community, we want to spotlight you. Just fill out the form that's in our link if we haven't already reached out to you. But hope you enjoy the spotlight and y'all stay blessed. Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Spotlight, where we went together and pushed the culture. I'm your host, Derek, and with me, I have a familiar face. No, this is not reaching or teaching. I will be interviewing my brother for this episode. I got Aaron with me. How you feeling, Aaron?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, it's other than what I told you about yesterday. Well, I'm good.
I should have brought that up before we even got started.
Man, look, like I said, we'll see.
We gonna see. But yeah, before we even start the conversation, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about your background and everything?
Well, a little bit about my background. For those who do not know, I'm from the same place as Derek. Grew up from Virginia, but more so my education background and things that I do. I went to Longwood for communication studies. And I was a digital media major with a concentration in, as you know, I was a communication studies major with a concentration in digital media. There we go. So I know how to edit, how to do videos, stuff like that. But along the way, things in life change, things in life happen, as life does. And I found that I wanted to be a counselor. So I didn't think I was actually going to get into grad school. So I was encouraged to still apply, you know, from loved ones, from professors, and they were like, you know, you never know what could happen. So I ended up applying to grad school, and I got in to learn the tools and tricks and trades to be a mental health counselor. And so now I'm almost done with that journey. And, you know, thank God, for real.
Nice. So let's stick there for a minute, just education. What was the reason, besides me, what was the reason you chose Longwood?
Let's get that truth out the way. Like, yes, that's part of the reason.
Go ahead, let them know,
That's part of the reason. So after I did Crash on Campus, after I stayed with you and Aaron Sims, I went home and I had acceptance letters from Longwood, Virginia State, Roanoke College, Hampden Sydney, and Virginia Union. And I was torn between State and Longwood, but I ended up picking Longwood just because, realistically, because of my sister. I just wanted to stay close to Kyla. Had I been the only child, I probably wouldn't have stayed. But I picked Longwood because of that reason, but I ended up finding things that I liked about the school, as well as what I saw needed to be improved on when I was there. And plus, I also love my program. I think that the comm program at Longwood is very good.
Gotcha. What was the reason? What was the reason you chose that? Because your program.
Mm-hmm.
I know me personally, going to school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I always was interested in business in some way. You know what I'm saying? So of course I wanted to do sports, but it was my option was either ODU or Longwood. I applied to other schools or whatever, and I tell you, those applications be long as shit. I stopped.
Yeah.
Those applications be long, but yeah. So what was the reason you chose your program?
What I chose my program for is because I automatically knew I wanted to go to school for communications, just because communications is just such a very broad major. Like, I'll give you like examples from people in our program who graduated. We got one sister, she works with the WWE, working in the media side of things, right there, editing videos, interviewing WWE wrestlers and superstars. One sister, she's the head media director at NASA. And then you got One guy who I know, his name is Mark. He works with a band. He does all of their promotional media things, and they're a small band, but it's still he makes a good living working for them, being a media marketing manager. Then, of course, I know other people who work at radio stations, news stations. Um, you got other people who still have that calm background but decided to go into other fields as well, just like me. But it's just having that communications degree. Like I love the jokes about having a communications degree that we just be talking to each other. It was like one meme was going around my junior year of high school. Someone said com majors be like, "Dang, got that conversation due before 11:59." Yeah.
Facts. Facts.
But it's just you learn a lot, not just in communications, like knowing how to edit a video or write um, a beat and writing an article. You also learn the art of communicating. You know, we learn how media drives people's attention. It gets people talking, gets people to do things like vote. You know, we close to the election. You know, that's very prominent right now as things that you see in the media, from commercials to magazines to newspapers, podcasts. It's such a broad field that touches a lot that we don't realize it, as well as it does help with those skills of communicating in general, because we had a lot of presentations, a lot of projects where you standing up in front of the room and you're talking for 20, 15 minutes about whatever it is.
Right. Um, what was I going to say? So yeah, you did. I think we all know now. You know, we both do a podcast. We do one together.
Hmm.
Those skills, I guess, with your program that help transition like with the podcast as well. Did that?
Hmm.
How
They
so?
did. They helped because there's no right way to podcast, but we all know that there's a formula that you need. Like you need personality, you need a topic, you need the ability to build up a platform and reach out people. So what it taught me was how to engage with people through social media, because I'm a social person. You know, I'll walk up to you and tell you about it, but I can reach 1,000 people in a day by one post more than I can if I go out there and talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned how to use the power of social media to get attention. And even though I don't do it in the way of which both the algorithm wants, as well as what other people do, I know how to do it. So it really taught me how to reach people. Like, you know, for reaching and teaching, if we really want to go viral, there's some stuff that I could tell you we could say right now, but it's like at the end of it, we're not going to look like we know what the heck we're talking about. We just
Yeah.
going to look goofy.
Facts. Yeah, I ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole because I could go on when you talk about the algorithm and everything like that. It's like
Hmm.
like you was like I know like what will go,
Hmm.
but it's like I don't want to be that. Like I want to be
Yep.
different.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be different. So I get it. I get it. So you mentioned, I think everyone already know that we grew up in the same area, Prince Edward County. I'm class of 2013. So for you, what was it? Well, yeah, I'll start there. What was it like growing up in Prince Edward, and would you recommend it?
Would I recommend it? That's honestly a hard question.
I
It's
know.
like part of me says no, and part of me says yes, because I would say honestly, I had a lot of character growth and development from being there. But, and you know, this is no shade, this me just being honest. Not a lot of us get out of the area to use it.
Mhm.
And I personally have seen a lot of people, both in my family and other people I know, who have the skills and capacities and the abilities to go make it in this world, but they get stuck in the bubble of familiarity that is Farmville.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna follow up with like why do you think that? Why do you think people don't get out, don't go and experience other places or even live at other places? Do you think it's just that small town mentality?
I think so. It's when meeting my roommates, I'll honestly say this. When I met my roommates in undergrad, and literally all of them are from cities. Um, Even with my other roommates, my boy Shola, he's from Africa, but then he moved to America to a big city. So they were all used to going somewhere, expanding, looking into different things, traveling. Like most of these dudes have been up and down the East Coast to the West Coast, out the country. And it's just like, I don't see that with a lot of people I grew up with, even doing things like that. But it comes with doing those things comes expanding your knowledge and expanding your worldview. So they really showed me in my experience that a lot of people from cities really like to branch out because cities are that bussing and that big and that moving and shaking. There ain't a lot happening in Farmville. Let's be real. There's people there who've been there their whole life, like their whole life. They ain't even been out the state,
Yeah.
let alone like out the county. But I think it is majority a small town mentality, as well as I also think it's kind of fear
Mhm.
because it is scary to put yourself out there in the world because you don't know what could happen. But I think that's also the beauty of it is there's people who are from small towns all the time who end up moving to these big places and making a better life for themselves, or finding that it maybe, hey, it ain't for me, and they
Yeah.
go to another small town or back to their hometown. It's just everybody got to leave home.
Yeah.
No one said you
Got
can't
to.
come back, but everybody got to leave home.
Got to. So was that what was that important for you after graduation to move out of Farmville?
Oh, absolutely. I got accepted into Longwood's grad program
I
for
remember that.
counseling,
Hmm.
but when I really sat back and thought about it, I'm thinking, yo, I was 24. As you know, I was 23 because that was 2 years ago. And I was like, I have been in school and in Farmville for almost 20 years now. I gotta kind of do something different.
Hmm.
And I think what always is playing in the back of my head is one of my dad's best friends. He's from New York. They went to school during the same time, and then later on he moved back. But one day when he came to visit, and he was asking me what am I doing when I'm gonna graduate, I told him, I said, I don't know. He was like, hey, whatever you do, get the up out of here. And I said, how come? He was like, I'm gonna be real with you. It's a trap. He said, a lot of places like Farmville, it's a trap, not because it's bad, but because you get comfortable. He was like, go out there, meet new people, go to different places, make mistakes, make good things happen. He said, but don't stay here. He said, because you can make a mistake here, you still got mom and dad to help you. You make a mistake out there, now you got to really realize what being in the real world is like.
Yeah.
So he said, he said, hey, you know what everybody do when they give you that advice? It's like, hey, it's up to you, you know. But what do
Facts.
I know?
Yeah, facts. Someone gave me like similar advice before like my senior year going into college. I was talking to a female at the time, family member, and he was just like, yeah, like where you going to college at? And I was just like, I'm going to Longwood. And at that point, people knew my family and people knew like I was into basketball and everything like that. So they kind of knew of me, of my
Hmm.
family and everything like that. And he was just like, well, like you staying in the area, you the big fish, quote unquote,
Mm.
and Prince Edward, you still gonna be that. You
Hmm.
don't wanna you don't wanna branch out and experience something different. And
Hmm.
I thought about that, but similar to like we was what you were saying earlier, just with Longwood, they had the better business program for myself.
Hmm.
But actually living on campus all 4 years and not staying at home and not necessarily always hanging out with, friends that were still in the area while I was in college. It was totally different. It was just like
Mm-hmm.
when you actually just focus in on the diversity that's on campus and everything like that. You just be like, dang, like these people are like you could find some similarities between you and some other people, but you'd be like, yeah, y'all really different, especially like those
Mm-hmm.
Nova
Yep.
students that came down. You
Way
knew
different.
you
Way
knew
different.
they was from Nova, like, and they'll let you know, yeah, I'm from
Mm-hmm.
Nova. Nova.
Yeah, I'm no. Yeah, I'm from Fredericksburg.
I'm from Nova. So I think it is important for just kids after high school, after college, if you're
Mm-hmm.
still in the area, like you don't necessarily even have to move at that certain point, but just go and experience another city for like a week.
A week.
Just
Yeah.
yeah, for like a week or so. Like just go experience something different. I mean,
No, I agree.
and if you are comfortable in your hometown, when you do go out and experience different things, you can bring that knowledge back to your hometown. I think that's the issue too. Like
Mm-hmm.
people complain about where they come from, but they don't do nothing different. Like
Yep.
you ain't doing nothing to help your community, so why complain about it? You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So you have no room to. But I think when it comes to Farmville, it's like instead of a period of up to high school and maybe retirement. That's like what Farmville is best for. Like
Yep.
between that period, it's just like, nah, I gotta get out. I gotta do something.
Yep.
It ain't that many opportunities out, in the town for me. So all the way up to high school and then, after like retirement age and everything like that. Cause of course a lot of people like coming back
Mm-hmm.
to visit a town, visit campus if they went to Longwood or Hampton City or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much what Farmville is like. But
Mm-hmm.
kind of sticking to, um, well, I know you mentioned you went to Longwood. One of the reasons you went to Longwood just to stay close to your sister.
Mm-hmm.
So would you consider yourself like a family man?
I have a weird definition of family. Like I go by family is not people I'm related to, but people who I have a deep connection with. It's just some of those people I have to so happen to share the same DNA with. And my sister's like no one on that list, where it's like her and like my best friend are like right there. But I would say that I am a family man. When we're talking about my family, that's for another episode of Unfiltered Brother.
Gotcha. Um, what I mean, growing up, what are some of the things that your family instilled in you?
I think that, and this is funny because this partially ties into what we talked about yesterday. But one thing that my family instilled in me is to stand on my merit, stand on my character. It's like, if I'm really, believe in something, I can stand in it. But something that they taught me indirectly is that what I also personally, this little soapbox moment, what I also think sometimes families don't teach you is that sometimes you can stand on what you believe in or stand on your principles. That doesn't mean you're right.
Mhm.
So I think that my family, both directly and indirectly, taught me to stand up for something, but don't fall for everything.
I like it. So what is kind of like a two-part question? What is one thing from your childhood that you miss as an adult?
I miss cartoon commercials. Like, it's like back in the day with cartoons, the commercials will be good. Sometimes they include stuff from the cartoons, and it just makes it all feel built up and cohesive. Like Joe gonna know what the hell I'm talking about too. But it's like it was always fun because streaming platforms are cool, but it's like you just know it's got that thing that's missing. Like,
Mhm.
for example, like when 106 and Park was on, that would not be the same today on a streaming platform. Like, if they gonna put it out on HBO or Amazon, new episodes every Friday, that
Mhm.
is not gonna be the same as compared to 2005 when you get home after school and it's on.
Facts. Facts. All right, so second part of that question, what is one thing that you comprehend well now as an adult that you didn't understand when you was a child?
Hmm. Dang, that's a good one. Um, I think one thing that I comprehend more now as an adult that I didn't as a child is that actually it's quite a few things. But if I could say the number one thing, I think that I would say that friendships change, friendships are different, and that you got to go through life and adjust to them. And not all the time it's an easy adjustment because it's like me and my three best friends, two from high school, well, all the way through grade school, and my best friend that I met in undergrad, we don't live close together. Like, it's different when you grow up with your best friend and you get to see them 5 days a week at school. Sometimes on the weekends, you can call them, hang out with them. But now you're an adult. I'm lucky to see you like twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
So
Facts. So,
it's,
oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask, like, what is your definition of a friend?
I think a definition of a friend is someone who both supports you as well as keeps you accountable. You know, I when I was going through everything I was going through in 2019 that ultimately led me down the path of wanting to be a counselor, my friend Jared was telling me, he was like, I'm worried about you, man. And Jared's not the type of guy to really exude a lot of emotion, but to hear him say and look me in my eye and be like, if you weren't here anymore because of what's going on, I feel like I would have failed you as your best friend.
Mm,
That meant a lot to me. I was like, okay, yeah, this may not be the dude that showed that he excited to see me, but I know if something terrible happened to me tomorrow, he wouldn't hesitate to shed a tear.
like that. Shout out to him, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. I do want to expand on that conversation. I'm gonna say a little later on in the conversation.
Yeah.
Keep it light just a little bit for now, but yeah, I'm gonna dive back into that.
Okay. All right.
So, of course, y'all know that we do the podcast together, reaching or teaching basketball. We both share a love for the game, for the sport. What is your first memory about basketball
Ooh, my first memory.
that you can remember?
My first memory that I can remember was watching a Lakers and Celtics game. And this is when Shaq was on the Celtics.
Mm, nasty work.
Nasty work, but that's my first memory of a basketball game, which is interesting because it's like I know I had seen it prior to, but
Hmm.
it's like that's like my strongest memory is that happening.
Got you. So how did you fall in love with the sport?
I fell in love with the sport, and this kind of connects to who I am. I fell in love with the sport through both watching, playing outside, as well as playing video games of it.
Hmm.
Because it was cool to play the video games and do the things that they can do, but I can't. Like, a 6-year-old can't dunk like Vince Carter, but it was cool to play it.
Shoot, on them 6 foot goals that we had in the house. I always look. I
And
always wanted dunk competition.
I feel that. Get creative with it, throw it between the legs, jump over the couch.
Going crazy. Going crazy. Go ahead, my
That
phone.
is, but and then it's like translating that to watching Vince Carter play. And now, okay, I want to go outside and play. Like it's just all like one big like cycle, like for me.
Yeah, I don't think I ever. Shoot, I asked you that question. I don't even think I ever talked about that. I think my first memory, just basketball itself, was like I was probably like 4 or 5, and my cousin. I don't know. My cousin Nate.
Mhm.
Um, he big into the. He's the one that pretty much got me to love the sport. He was always teaching me the game and everything like that. So that's like my first that's like my first real memory of just basketball itself. Um, but yeah, so we both share, we both, Kobe is like our favorite player.
Mhm.
Um, so what about Kobe as an individual that inspired you?
It's changed. As a kid, it was like I liked how Kobe played. Like to me, he never looked flustered. He never looked like he was unconfident. It was, it don't matter if he scored 30 or 15. He went out there and he played with a presence as if he's here. And I really admired that he just went out there and played with this, not a mask on, but his real face of, and I mean that metaphorically, like I'm here, I'm Kobe Bryant, I'm a bad son bun, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna shoot this shot. I don't care if it's you, or the whole team guarding me. I'm gonna shoot this ball, I'm gonna drive the ball, I'm gonna pass it, I'm gonna guard you, I'm gonna be in your face. So it's like from a game perspective, I loved him as a kid because to me, he was the only player on the court who played fearless.
Thanks. I agree. All of that. Just
Hmm.
resilient. Just the passion, the work
Hmm.
ethic. Oh man, I loved every moment of watching Kobe play basketball. I will always. It was, of course, it was Kobe. I think D Rose, and then maybe I think Chris Paul too. Like anytime I had a game, all throughout school that whole day, I would be watching those people highlights. I
Hmm.
may not even, I may not even use the moves in the game. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? But just to watch it with just motivation, like, dang, like try that. I'm gonna
Fact.
see if I could do
Oh, absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's definitely motivation. It's definitely
Mhm.
motivation.
Yeah. So I guess fast forward a little bit. So we mentioned that we grew up in the same area and everything like that. We didn't, because what class you is again? 17?
17.
Yeah, right. So we didn't really know each other, but we knew of each other
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of basketball and everything like that.
Hmm.
Um, and then you mentioned earlier you came to Longwood for Crash on Campus. You stayed with me, my LB, Aaron
Yep.
Sam. Shout out to you, bro. And then
Still heard about the invite that I didn't get to the wedding, but it's okay.
I'm gonna have a conversation with him about it. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that situated for you. You know.
Look. My therapist asked me one day, she said, "Do you have a hard time letting stuff go?" And I said, "No, I don't think so." And then I do shit like this, and I'm like, "Okay, maybe I do."
Maybe I do. Hey, first step is admitting.
That's
First
true.
step is admitting. That is hilarious. So yeah, so came and stayed with us for that weekend. Had a great time. Pretty much got cool from there. Started looking at
Yeah,
you as a little bro. And then like for me, I started coaching with G for the PFYA Prince Edward Farmville Youth Association for the youth league basketball. This was back in probably like 17 or so. And then the season after that, I got the opportunity to coach my own team. And then so pretty much like you was pretty much the first person I thought of
oh, thank you.
to ask to be, my assistant coach, and you accepted the offer and everything like that. So I pretty much brought that up just to ask because I don't know, for me personally, playing basketball and coaching basketball is two different loves.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So what were your purpose for wanting to coach, and what did you learn from it?
My purpose of coaching was to both show the kids the fun of the game as well as what it can do for you constructive wise. Because sports in general, from me playing basketball, me playing tennis, taught me about consistency, dedication, and hard work. And I wanted the kids to get a good taste of that, as well as it being fun, because it's tough to lose and hard to find the fun in that. But it's like, okay, at the end of the day, when the season's done, did I have fun? I hope that that box of yes is checked.
Nice. So to kind of transition into some of the question, like, why do you want to help people?
I want to help people. Um, this ties like into the deeper part of what I was talking about with my boy Jared.
Hmm.
Um, after everything had happened to me, I went to therapy. The guy was a good counselor. Only had a few sessions with him, and I told myself I don't want anybody to feel the way that I felt. And one of my professors, shout out Dr. Booth, she said people get into counseling for two reasons, either because something happened to someone they know or something happened to them. And I always knew that I wanted to help people. I just never knew what that was gonna be. Because it's like growing up, one of my aunt, Volante's grandma,
Yeah.
she always told me I was gonna be a police officer. One bus driver at the school said I was going to be a congressman. Another one of my brothers said I was going to be a lawyer. Everyone told me I was going to be in a career, pitched that I was going to be in a career to help somebody, to do the greater good for somebody else. Coaching is a lot like that. I personally think coaching is a lot like that. I think the best coaches don't just teach you the sport, they teach you life.
No, that's facts. It should anyway.
They should.
Should anyway. Any type of coach, life coach, basketball, any sports coach, you should. That's what you should get from it. So kind of sticking on that, even we go through life, we all have different experiences. We grew up in different environments. And whether if you grew up privileged, you have your family have everything that you want, you can get everything that you need and everything like that. From the small struggles to the big struggles, is therapy always necessary?
This may be a hot take as a therapist, but I'm gonna say no.
Mm,
But I will also follow by saying it's not a bad option.
right.
And to elaborate, I say that because this is like a little bit of this is probably more than likely a little bit of bias. If you had a breakup in 10th grade and y'all just broke up, there won't no, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Are we talking about 10th graders here, or are we still talking about adults?
We're talking,
Because
I'm
I was
getting
about
there. I'm getting there.
because I was about to say, if you still worried about a 10th grade breakup, yeah, you need to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like a 10th grader who had a breakup with their boyfriend or their girlfriend and it bugs them, it bothers them. Yeah, they can talk that out. They definitely should have some support around them. I don't think that that necessarily means you need therapy, but if it was your first relationship, you got you got cheated on, they cheated on you with your best friend, and you 27 and it's still bugging you, okay, yeah, I think therapy is a good option to figure out why that still bothers you.
Hmm.
Like some stuff, it happens to you and it sucks, but something taught you. It taught you something. Or maybe it just sucks and tomorrow's a new day.
Right.
But some stuff, yeah, you need a little bit of help.
Gotcha. So I got some examples, but since because that's how I was feeling when I asked, just is therapy always necessary? I don't think it's always necessary, but what are the alternatives for those that may not want to go to therapy? Me personally, some of the things that I would do is like exercise.
Hmm.
I think that's a good stress reliever. And basketball, we talking about that. Basketball is good for me.
Hmm.
Well, for you, like, what are some of the alternatives for people that may not want to go to therapy?
It's a bunch of alternatives. It's if you don't want to go to therapy, you can get a life coach. If you don't want a life coach, you can, like I said, exercise, change your diet. But if it's still something that's bugging you and you don't want to go to therapy, I think the best thing to do from there, Actually, there's two things to do from there. One, I'm gonna be biased and still go to therapy. Um,
Hmm.
because you never know.
You should.
But the other answer to that is I would say to surround yourself with accountable and both loving people. Like this goes back to what I said about what a good friend is. Like I truly believe that you have three friends in life. You have the real friend who's always gonna keep it real with you. They're gonna keep you accountable. You got the the distracting friend where okay, now we ain't gonna sit down and be sad tonight. We're going out, we're going to the movies, we're going to have fun, get you out that funk. And then you got the fuck you friend. You got that friend who's got your back no matter what. If you call them at 3 a.m. or 3 p.m., they ready to go for war to you now. We all have those three friends in life, but you need all three of them because one is gonna light a fire in you. That's the fuck you friend. One is gonna allow you to realize that life isn't all bad. That's the distracting friend. And then the real friend is gonna be like, okay, what's happening? Like, why are we still upset over this breakup? Why are we still bothered that we got fired? Like, why are you still calling them, texting them? Why ain't you cut that person off? You need all three.
Hmm. And sometimes that could be one person.
And sometimes that can all be one person. That can
Yep.
like I'll tell you, I'm two of those three people. I am the distracting
Yeah.
friend, and I'm the real friend. I'm not
I'm
the
like
fuck
I'm
you
like
friend.
I'm like the 2.5.
Well,
Because I'm with you for I'll ride for something, but some things
yeah,
I be
yeah,
like,
yeah,
nah, we ain't doing that.
yeah,
We
yeah,
ain't doing that. Somebody got
yeah,
a good head on their shoulders.
yeah. It's like okay, I agree. We should pop them in the mouth,
Hmm.
but let's put the bat down. Like,
Right. Right. Exactly. Why are you picking up chairs? This ain't done. Like, what are we doing? Like, yeah, fact.
No, why are
But
you picking up chairs?
like, why are you picking up a chair?
I'm about to say, my last time I said my
Going
name
back
ain't
down
John
to
Cena. I ain't about to wrestle nobody. Hold on.
going back to Montgomery.
Ah!
Out of here. Oh man. So why do you think some people just refuse completely to go to therapy?
um, history, preconceived notions, and their own fears. History for a lot of Black people, mostly speaking to us with this, we have the notion in our community of if you go to therapy, you're crazy or something's wrong with you. Like I've had conversations with people who are Black who don't believe in therapy, and it's like some of them I can understand where they're coming from, but all of them I disagree with. But it's like, am I biased? Probably. But it's also one of those things where it's like therapy may not be the solution for you, but it's the solution for somebody. So we have to get rid of that gunk from decades and decades and decades of believing that talking about your feelings is a problem. Like, I won't forget one time, me and my grandfather got into an argument, and he's old school. And he was saying, I was talking to him, and sometimes when you talk to the older generation, you got to break it down into ways that they can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, I said, Pa John, you see your wooden steps over there? He said, yes, sir. I said, if you got one wooden step over there and it's rotten, it's broken to pieces, what could happen? He said, oh, I could hurt myself. I said, that's exactly why fixing it is important, right? He said, yeah. I said, now, if you got a piece of you that's rotten and broken and you don't fix it, you can end up hurting yourself or somebody else.
Mm.
And he was like, nah, see, that's that brainwashing stuff y'all learn. And I'm like, no, 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 it's not. And he said, Aaron, so if I shoot my brother and kill him, do you think I want to talk about that? I said, you may not want to, but you probably need to. And he dead ass got in his truck and drove away. But it's just like that's part of the reason I became a counselor is shit like that. Like, excuse my French, but it's stuff like that. It's like because my being real, my grandpa would definitely benefit from therapy. That man's been through a lot. But it's like that mentality is what I'm trying to get out of the community.
Nice. This wasn't even one of my questions, but just hearing you talk, how would you describe your faith?
Mm. I definitely believe in God as well as I believe in the power of people. I was filling out my bio for my counseling practice actually, and in there it's like a paragraph long about us. And in there I put, I believe the power, I believe the willpower of people is one of the most beautiful things in the world, because taking care of each other is not an achievement, it's a responsibility. And my supervisor said, "Where did that come from?" I said, "Partially a Marvel movie." Um, I said, "But the other part is because I believe it." I said, and I told her, I said, "I'm gonna be real. Do I think everybody can change? No. But I believe that everybody has the choice to change. And if you have a lot of willpower and you want to make something better for yourself, you will go and make that change for yourself."
Yeah.
And she was like, "That's fair." Everybody got different counseling philosophies. Like I've talked to counselors who think way differently than me, both on both ends of the spectrum. But it's like my faith is rooted in, I do believe in you, but I also do believe that God is going to make a way. It's not going to be pretty. Sometimes it's going to be tough. It's going to be gritty. And sometimes it's going to open, excuse me, it's going to open doors and windows to places where it's going to be amazing. I didn't know I was going to be a therapist. You asked Aaron 10 years ago, I was going to be an actor. I was going to go to Hollywood. I was going to be involved in everything. But you never know where those things lead you.
No, facts. So that kind of helped transition to my next question. So it's like, all right, so me, I've been working at a university for several years now, just servicing college students of many different ages, from you could say probably like 17 all the way up until like 70.
Mhm.
Um, you know, not going to lie, I be having doubt for these people. And just the state of America, which I don't even need another reason for that. But as a counselor and someone who have to um, talk to clients about their internal and external issues,
Mhm.
what makes you so optimistic?
I think what makes me optimistic is that you're here.
Mm,
You took the first step. And I say that to all of my clients. One of my clients actually is very big in their faith. And every time we meet, it gets brought up. And I was making it known of, I'm very proud of you because you are very with your faith and it is holding you together. I said, but also you still are making the choice to come see me every week. So you got to give yourself credit there too.
no, that's facts. That is facts. So kind of like the same thing. Someone's going through something, or someone may not be going through, well, you can't really judge what people go through and the level of it, but
Mhm.
what what steps should one take if seeking counseling? Like
Mhm.
someone just, having a conversation with someone and that person suggests that they should do this. What's that first step that they should do?
The first step you should do is see what counseling services are available near you. Luckily, like for in Farmville, there is one. It's also where I work here too. In Timberlake, it's called Kairos Counseling. I got our logo and stuff on right now. But um, make sure that you have counseling services accessible to you. This is where it gets into like the more so businessy part. Is the tough part is seeing that you can afford it. Because like for example, for me, I'm an intern. So my price is 35 an hour, and that's usually a regular session. But you go and you see someone like my director, he's 125 an hour because he's got 4 degrees. He's that guy. He's that much for a reason. But along with that, I would also say understand what you're going for. Like if you're going for a relationship, hey babe, we need some stuff to work out, and I don't think that we're doing a good job working it out. Go seek out a couples counseling, family counselor, someone dealing with trauma, anxiety, depression, addiction. It's a lot of times people don't know specifically what they need to go for. It's you got someone who they may come to counseling for addiction, but then along the way, they also realize, okay, I do got a lot of anxiety. And then that also can be tied to, and a lot of times it is tied into depression. Or you got some people, it's like, okay, we got to go for couples counseling, but in the couples counseling, it's like, okay, I need anger management by myself. So it's you either can do the research to see what type of services they provide, which I think you should do, as well as if you don't know, it'll get found out in the session.
Nice. So, like finding that, of course, finding the right therapist is important.
Mhm.
What qualities should a therapist have?
Ooh. I love that question because I personally think that every therapist, their qualities, you should be selfless, you should be honest. And one of the things we talk about in my program is to be open-minded. I don't necessarily disagree with being open-minded, but I also think that being ready to be in a room with someone you may disagree with is tough. So that may be open-mindedness. Maybe that's just another way I'm looking at it, another way I'm saying it. But it's just instead of just open-mindedness, I would also say come in there ready to know that, hey, me and this client may not click today or at all, but that's okay because you could just go see another counselor that can help you with that. But I do think the biggest thing a counselor should have is to be selfless. I am not in this field because I can make a really good amount of money. I can have a really good living because therapists make good money. Like that is one of those fields where people do make good money being a therapist. But this goes to a sign I remember seeing in the high school classroom in the history room. It was in it for the income. Oh, in it for the outcome, not the income. That's what I think all counselors should have. It's like, I don't care that I'm making 80K or 100K or 75K at the end of the year. When you walk through my door, we are going to work on helping you improve you. It ain't about me, it's about you. So I think every counselor should be selfless and that they should come into this wanting what's best for who they work with. Because just being real, there's people in my program where it's like, okay, you're only a counselor because you want to have your bad experiences validated. That's why you work with specific people. Versus you got counselors like myself and others who are just like, I see a population that needs my help and I want to help them. It's like one of my classmates, she expressed a lot about her past. And she was like, I want to be a counselor for kids because when these things happened to me when I was a child, no one believed me. So I'm going to make sure that I'm their voice. Now, is there some selfishness in there? Absolutely. But it's like you mostly are selfless because you don't want this to happen to other children.
Nice. So one word that sticks out to me that's important in any type of relationship, friendship, or whatever is the word trust. Many people have trust issues because of past experience of people being dishonest to them. What steps do counselors take to build that trust with clients so they can open up to them?
That's a damn good question. I think that for a good counselor, not even a good, for all counselors, to build trust, we just got to be honest. because I told my clients, when I first met them, I'm like, I am not here to tell you what you want to hear. I said, but I'm also not here to down you. I am here to help you grow and change the things that you want to work on, because you're sitting in this room with me right now because you realize that you came here to do some work. And it's my job to help you. And I am going to do my damnedest to help you. Point blank, period. I said, and something that we do have to say in counseling, because it's true, is like, this is a open space of no judgment. You say what you got to say, and what happens in this room stays in this room. I'm not going to tell nobody. I'm not going to tell, my kids, my wife, my coworkers. Like, no, this is between you and me. So that's how you do it. You lay it all out there. Like, that's all you can do.
So as a counselor, how much do you all open up to? Well, should you? Are you allowed to? How much do y'all open up to clients?
That's the thing. We're not supposed to. Well, even in the realm of we're not supposed to, as well as not supposed to a lot. So something we have in counseling is called transference and countertransference. What that is, just like if there, let's say you was right now, you was like, oh man, I was cheated on by all my girlfriends. And
Facts.
that's right. We gonna call them out. I was like, oh, you say I was cheated on by all my girlfriends. Countertransference is if I make it about me. Of like, dang, that me too, yo. This one time in high school, this one girl I was dating. That's what we're not supposed to do.
See, that's but that's like why I asked the question, because of course it's different. It's different for counselors. I already know it is, but in the outside world, if I'm talking to someone and trying to relate to them, and I got a similar thing that happened to me, of course I want to relay that message so they know I've been through what they've been through. So that's
Mhm.
kind of why I asked, how much do y'all open up, or can y'all
Yeah.
even open up to
It's
clients?
like we can, but we really have to be careful because one, we don't want to make it about us.
Mhm.
Two, we don't want to cause any issue between us. Because let's say I've never been cheated on and you have been, and I say, I don't know what that's like. Now, what does that do for us in the session?
Mhm.
But it's like a response, whether I have been or I haven't or I have been cheated on by everybody I've been with. Let's say you say, man, everybody I with, man, they cheated on me, man. That shit hurt. And I can answer it like a counselor, and I can say something along the lines of, you've been betrayed a lot. Or I can answer it like how I would also as Aaron. I'll be like, I can understand that. I've had my fair share. I didn't give away too
I'm about to say
much.
not going into the details, but just know
Hmm.
I've been through what you've
Exactly.
been through.
Yep.
I understand.
Yep, because it's like one of my clients was talking about their anger. And I was telling them, I was like, look, something that we learn in counseling is anger is a secondary emotion. That means it's tied to a primary emotion. I said a lot of times that's sadness, fear. I was like, but the hard thing too about anger is it's strong. I said, and sometimes it's addicting. I said, because when we get angry, people listen, people respond. I said, sometimes we like that. We like making people upset when we're upset. And he said, um, what did he say? He said, yeah, it makes you feel powerful. I said, oh, yeah, it does. Because I've been there myself. But what does it get us at the end of the day?
Mhm.
And that's how we can make it. I feel what you're saying, but we're still working on this.
Right. That. So just a few more questions for you, you know. Um so this question was given to me by Joe. Shout out to Joe.
Joe.
So as someone that has had a hard time managing emotions when overwhelmed,
Mm.
what tips or tricks would you recommend in those stressful moments?
Well, in the counseling world, we had this wonderful phrase called "it depends," because it does depend on everybody. When you're overwhelmed with a lot of stuff, it does sometimes help to take a step back. I know for me, I'm a big reader as well as I like TV and gaming. So what I do is if I'm overwhelmed, I put on like a comedy special or something because it's like I know this is about to be funny because I watched it 20 times, especially ones that really crack you up. Because now I'm laughing, I'm releasing that frustration because it's like, you ever been someone been upset and you start acting goofy and smile or something, they can't help but smile too. Like
Mhm.
that's how sometimes like as a kid I got out of trouble. Like my mom would be upset and I would make her laugh. Like I remember you saying in practice one day, laughing is contagious.
Yeah.
Like it's majority of the time, if you're frustrated and you see something funny, you're gonna laugh and it's gonna change your mood. But I also say things too, like everyone's different. So prayer, meditation. The biggest thing I say is talking about it because you never know. It's like, dang man, I got all this on my plate, man. I ain't been getting no sleep. What can I do? And it's like, hey man, look, you got 10 things to do by Saturday, right? And it's Thursday. Out of those 10 things, which ones need to get done now?
Mhm.
Okay, three of them. All right, cool. What about the other seven? And then you start helping someone breaking it down that way. And it's like, okay, those last three things could be done now as well as later, but let me help you with them. So that way now you only got seven, and now we can reallocate this stress. It's not one size fits all. It's very different for everybody. But understanding that you're overwhelmed is the biggest part too. You gotta realize it because there's some people where you burn the candles at both ends. That's a normal.
Mhm.
Like that's not good to burn the candle at both ends all the time. Like always on the go like that. And your body gets used to it, your mind gets used to it, your heart gets used to it. It's tough to pull yourself out of that. So when that happens, you have to realize first what triggers you. And that's something I learned from my boy Jeffrey, who's also in school to be a therapist. He said that you have to understand your triggers first of what gets you there.
That's important.
Mhm.
That's important. So kind of a two-part question. You didn't really go into detail of, what made you seek therapy, anything like that, but now, like, what are ways that you manage your mental health? I know you still go to therapy and everything like
Mhm.
that, but what are some other ways that you do it? And then, like, the second part of that question, I know you may not be able to answer because I'm not sure all the clients that you have had.
Mhm.
But you had mentioned earlier about, like, if pretty much if someone kind of like goes off on you in the session and everything, like,
Mhm.
how do you manage your mental health in the session going through, what I'm saying, talking to clients like that?
Well, that second question I'm gonna answer first because the politically correct thing to do is if you are not in danger, you kind of just gotta take it. Like if you going off like, man, I don't know why the fuck you a therapist, man. What you good for? That's when the therapy gotta kick him like, so I'm hearing you upset with me. You didn't like what I said, which is understandable. And it's trying to de-escalate it. Or even if like you made someone like sad, like when it gets like physical or your health can or your safety can be in danger, okay, that's a whole different thing. And we gotta like figure that out. But I've been told by every therapist who I work with, my therapist herself, my classmates, and my professors, you're gonna have a client who you piss off. You're gonna have a client who you make upset, uncomfortable.
Mhm.
It's just part of the job. And it's hard not to feel the way because if I'm in a session and someone's like, man, you're a terrible counselor, I'm like, who the fuck? Like, I'll do a good job, thank you. Like in the back of my head. But I can't react that way. But it's also one of those things where it's like, okay, why am I mad that they said this thing? And that's where, of course, going to therapy and talking about it and consulting with my other counselors can be helpful. Um, so that's the big part for that second one, because Just don't swing on your client. That's all. Just don't swing on your clients.
That is
You
not
fired.
smart. Oh, you out? No, you more than
You
fired.
out of there.
You more than fired.
Like it's even like you can be like, it was a rough session today, man. And that's true. You're
Mhm.
not telling nobody business. You just being real like, yeah, it was rough today, man. It was rough. But to answer the first question, may you repeat the first question?
Just some of the different ways that you manage your mental health now.
Therapy is number one. Um, of course, I said I like to read because I think reading is a good escape for me.
What type of
Um,
books did
oh,
you read?
I like mystery books because mystery books it is always continuous of something happens and this happens and things can change. I like the story building aspect of mystery books. It's really good.
Yeah,
So it helps get my mind off of it because it's like, okay, I'm not pissed no more. I'm trying to figure out who the heck killed this person. Like,
I'm like that with
um,
movies. I don't know if I could read them, but I'm like that with like TV shows and stuff like that.
mhm.
I wonder who killed that person. I know she
Yeah.
did it. I know she looked like she did
Let's
it.
say, yeah, she looked real guilty.
Uh-huh.
But it's that as well as a very honest and transparent answer. I'm still looking for other ways
Mm,
because sometimes the things that we think help our mental health don't. Because for a while, I thought playing sports would get my mind off of it, but I realized it wasn't. Like it would just make me more mad. Like if I'm upset and I'm like, I'm just gonna go to the rec at Longwood, I'm just gonna play some pickup. That me running to someone setting the screen, I'm gonna take that personally now. Instead of realizing, oh, that's just basketball, I just made contact. Because one time, and this is when I told myself I had to change, I was playing basketball and I was boxing a dude out and I went for the rebound. I came back down. He accidentally like bumped into me and I fell on the ground. I threw the ball, turned it over, and the other team scored. And he was like, hey, my bad, bro. You good? I said, man, get the fuck away from me, man. And he was like, dude, it's not that deep. And I was just like, I'm gonna go home now.
mm.
So I took my sneakers off and he was like, where you going? I said, I'm just gonna have to go, bro. My fault. My fault. And I left. And one guy I went to school texted me, he was like, bro, you good? I was like, I am now because I'm calmer. I said, but I had to go, bro, because I was making it bigger than what it was. So I noticed that even though I love sports, that's not a healthy outlet when I'm mad, you know.
Mm.
It is if I want to have fun,
Yeah,
but I can't do that because I'm gonna end up making something a big deal. And I'm just gonna be acting like a jerk
yeah,
because I just noticed that little by little, but like that day I was like, yeah, I need to make this change.
yeah. Because I mean, a situation like that, it's like the person they're covering up their pain, their anger without addressing it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? They don't, they don't have someone to go talk to or just to get the anger out. So they just keep it all in and think
Hmm.
they can go do these different activities to forget about it, but you never really forget about it.
Nope.
It just stays in the back of your head until something triggers it.
Yep.
And it could be the smallest thing. It could be the smallest thing, but
Yep.
soon as it happened, then you snap and you crashing out for no reason.
Hmm.
And that person probably ain't even really do nothing to you. So
Nope, not at all. And that's the other thing. It's like, what did he really do to me? He just bumped into me. That happens in basketball. People
yeah,
sometimes bump into you. Like it's a physical sport.
yeah,
So I just realized then of like, I'm I still say sometimes you do need a healthy distraction until you can really process what happened. But sometimes a distraction can be negative too. Because like you said, I wasn't distracting myself and having fun. I was just burying it.
yeah.
And it was
Even in that moment, it's like you notice that you had to remove yourself from the situation.
hmm
Like you knew I need to go do something about this, but you didn't. It's still kind of progress because some people would have stayed and escalated it further, but
hmm
you just like, nah. You realize like, I don't think it's best for me to stay in this. environment right now and let me just remove myself completely.
Yep.
But that's even progress right there. So
It's true because it's like I know dudes who come to play ball and they've had a bad day, and the next thing you know they over here swinging with somebody. And it's just like no, they're not fighting you. They fighting that argument they had earlier. They fighting that pain that they had for something all year. It's like they're not really mad at you. And to that day when I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and go. I'm proud of myself for making that change, but it's also like, dang, like
yeah,
I see where I could have went with this.
right, right. So two more questions for you. Over the last you would probably have a different estimate than me, but I would say probably like the last 5 to 10 years, the mental health conversations has picked up, increased, and everything like that. Do you like where the mental health awareness has evolved to today, or you think, of course, it's still some things that we could do different, but in your opinion, how do you feel about the mental health conversation happening today? And is there anything we need to do more as a community involved in mental health?
I'll say this. Well, two things. One, I like it. I don't love it. I say I strongly like it because more advocacy and more understanding of mental health is now important, which is amazing. But at the same time, I think a lot of people don't know how to go about it. And and I hate to say this, I think that it's now becoming popular to have some mental health going on. Because it's like I know a lot of people, especially from undergrad, who would post about them being depressed or having trauma. And I would message them and be like, have you been to counseling? Fuck no, I ain't going to no counseling. Why do I need to go to counseling? And it's just like, but then that is my response. But everyone going, "You're good. You're so strong. I got you. If I need you, if you need me, I love you. You're the bestest, the fastest, the awesomest, the prettiest, the smartest, the bestest, the realest, the coolest." Da 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 da. Like, okay, are we now using mental health for validation? That's where I don't love it because I feel like there's a lot of people who use mental health for validation.
Mhm.
And if there is something going on, I do hope that you do get the help to get better. I genuinely do. I don't care if I like you, if I don't like you. You got something going on, I hope you get it fixed. I hope you
Yeah.
get it solved. But I think that to tie on to that, I think that there needs to be a bigger understanding of mental health in both the professional world as well as outside, because something that I don't like about mental health and therapy in this realm is sometimes the over prescribing of medications. I remember doing a PowerPoint one time in a public speaking class, and it was on mental health. And I saw that about 30% of adults have some sort of depression disorder that is undiagnosed. And a lot of therapists and researchers and psychologists think the answer is, oh, medicine, pills, get their mood stabilized. It's just like, or therapy, like talking, or how about this? Love. Some people don't need a pill, they need a hug.
Talk about it.
Like that's how I view it. Cause it's like, I won't forget, I was in class one day and this statement legit pissed me off. One of my classmates, well, my professor asked, what's something about our field that we need to change? And I said that we preach that we're human, but sometimes we don't act like that. And he said, what do you mean? I said, sometimes in therapy, we're giving off this notion of being a professional, but not being a person. I said, for example, if I have a client who's 15 and his whole family died in like a house fire the day before, and he's still in session with me and they're crying and they say, Mr. Barstow, can I get a hug? I'm going to give you a hug. And one of my classmates was like, I don't really care if your family died in a house fire. I'm not going to violate that and hug you. And it took everything in me to be like, and you don't need to be no fucking therapist. Because it's like, I get that. That's one big thing in counseling. It's like, we can't do that. Like, I can't give my clients hugs, daps, a lot of the time, stuff like that. I fist bump, men who I see, like if I see kids, I will give them high fives. But if like you need that emotional attention in that moment, like I know like the example I use in it is an extreme. We're a field that sees the extreme.
Mhm.
So why would I deny my humanity for professionalism? I
Yeah.
think that that's something that else that needs to change, as long as the understanding of mental health in general, and that it's not just this surface level thing. It can be deeper, and sometimes it is just surface level.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Some people, and I'm not denying that a lot of people are not, going through things in life and everything like that. But I just hate that that's like the go-to sometimes. Oh, he has a mental health issue and this and that. Have you been diagnosed? Like, have you
Hmm.
went to go talk to somebody
I
before
say
you just
it's a
say
lot of self-diagnosing out here.
before you went going to say I have a mental health issue? But last question I got for you is what can people expect from you as a counselor and why would you recommend yourself?
What people can expect from me as a counselor is authenticity, care, trust, and vulnerability. Not in the aspect of I'm gonna like earlier, like I said, like, yeah, dude, this broke my heart too. Like, I'm not gonna be like that, but it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be honest of like if you were a therapist, like you like, hey, Mr. Barksdale, be real with me. You ever hurt somebody you love? I'll be like, yep, I have.
Mhm.
However, remember we're doing your work today. Things like that. I will be honest with my clients. I will be here for you. I think that's the biggest thing is that some people come to therapy because nobody understands. I may not know everything and feel everything you went through because Lord knows there's some things that people come to me for and come to others for that I have not been near, touched, thought of, or did. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna turn you away for help. Because I don't care who you are, what you look like, what you're here for. If you sign up with Aaron, Aaron is here to help you. Point blank, period.
Mhm. Nice. So that's pretty much all I got for this episode. Aaron, I appreciate you for joining me for this conversation. I thought it was a good conversation. People can take a lot from it. If you need help,
Mhm.
seek counseling.
Yep.
And I see on your flyer you specialize in young adults, college students, teenagers, grief counseling, anger management, anxiety, depression, and couples therapy. So
Yep.
if you fall within those categories, and you seeking help, go ahead, reach out to bro, tap in with him. Great guy, known him for years.
Oh, I
Definitely
also add this.
good
I
hand.
also looking at student athletes too. If you're dealing with rehab from an injury and you can't get over that mental health hump, I got you too. I forgot to add it to the flyer. My bad.
Oh yeah, yeah. So y'all tap in with bro. Any final thoughts or any final saying?
Um, it is okay if therapy is not for you, but that doesn't mean that it can't be for you. You don't know it. And I think that we live in a world where people want to try a lot of things that they think will help them, but not the things that they actually will help them, you know. And therapy should be one of those things because at the end of the day, it's either for you or it's not.
Yeah,
But you never know until you try.
yeah.
If you can go to the gym, if you can eat that salad, if you can take the vitamins, if you can even pray, I think you should also give counseling a shot.
In facts. Last thing I would say, it don't make you less of a person to seek help.
Exactly.
If you going through something, seek help. Talk to somebody. Like you don't have to, of course it could be a close friend. You don't have to go into too much details, but talk to somebody. Get it out.
Mhm.
Don't hold the anger in, all that pain in. Express yourself to someone and then go seek the professional help that you may or may not need. But this is the conclusion of Unfiltered Spotlight. So remember for this segment, pretty much I'm looking for any like business owners, entrepreneurs, community leaders, whatever. If you're doing something positive, good in the community, I started off with 434, but pretty much it's not as excluded to It's not excluded to the 434. So anywhere. So if you doing something good in your community, reach out to us. I would love to have an interview with you to put the spotlight on you so people can know what you're doing in your community and reach out to you.
Well,
But with
thank you.
that, y'all stay blessed, y'all stay safe, and we out here.